Hey Ra, how are you?
Doing well.
Thank you so much for being on Lessons Learned, especially, for Black History Month.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, let's get right into it. So, what do you think about appreciation versus fascination?
Okay. I would say appreciation in my book is favored more than fascination because fascination can always borderline on inappropriate behavior and thoughts, I would say. So
Mm,
fascination is when you start inviting in appropriation and whatnot. And appreciation is when you invite in inclusion, I would
mm,
say. So it's two different things. So it's like, um, it's kind of like how in the early 2000s there were a lot of songs with rock music and rap music together, and no one had to say the N word ever, ever. That was inclusion. But now it's different. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like you'll have like I love MGK, but you'll have someone that looks like MGK and like he'll say blah blah blah, might say the N word, whatever, whatever. Oh, it's just cool, you know what I'm saying? It's just music. But with the way that this country is set up, everything is intertwined. So we have to
yes.
cross our T's and dot our I's until we're out of the dark ages, because we're still like there's still old mentality that's raising people these days. So that old mentality is not as innocent thinking as your mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the new mentality. So until everyone is evolved, we just gotta have no nonsense stuff, pretty much. So
Right. Do you
yeah.
think do you think mainly people want to be appreciated when it comes to Black culture, or do you think a lot of Black people just think of everything as, they're fascinated by it? The reason why I say that is like hair. Like I know some people that want to wear braids, they want to wear like dreads and stuff because they're
Yeah.
really fascinated by that, or like they appreciate that. What are your thoughts about that?
I would say, I mean, honestly, I'm evolving on that idea before, because before I used to be like, I don't know if you remember when I was in Boston, because it was like a culture shock when I went up there. So like before, I used to be like any little thing, I would be like, oh no, they can't do that, they can't do that. But like honestly, I think hairstyles is okay as long as you understand what's going on. Like if you're a white person and you have locks, call them locks, not dreads. You know, so it's just about like making sure that you're aware of the culture, one, before you make that step, and so that you don't do anything ignorant from that point on. And
Mm,
two, if your intention is to get a hairstyle, leave it at that. Don't adapt an accent, don't adapt a hand gesture or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like because some people, like I have Twitter and all that, some people get really offended how like some white people get, locks or get braids and stuff like that. But I don't think it's really a big problem, but except when what you said about people like changing their like style, they're changing their accent and everything, that's when it does get ignorant. But as far as hair, braids, and all that, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And honestly, I changed on the hair thing because you have to come to terms and realize that when you look at race, we're all not that different. So if there's a white person that has nappy hair, because there are white people with nappy hair, if
Right.
that hairstyle is better suited for them, then that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Who are you to tell them, hey, your hair's not as nappy as mine, so you can't do this? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We also have to change the narrative of like what is seen as like an acceptable like I don't know, like I think every hair type should be acceptable. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like even if that stems outside of the 4C and all that stuff. So it stems into different races, like they should know their hair types, they should know all this shit. It shouldn't be just only black people are discovering themselves. So
Mm,
I think that's
yeah. And I want to add on, I feel like everyone is different when it comes to appreciation and fascination. I feel like everyone would have their own different perspective on it because some people been through different terms. And like for my next question, it's about colorism, like you said, about like the different types of hair texture. There are
Mhm.
some black people, some black women that will get mad or not, just maybe I guess jealous, like about like another Black person have like curlier hair or like a little straighter hair, they're like, oh, she got white in her, and like just being ignorant in that like perspective. But so like obviously, do you think there's colorism in our community?
There's most definitely colorism in our community. You can see it, like being from Atlanta, it's like very prevalent, because it's like, I remember when I was growing up, it would be all the Black girls, we would all like, I'm not even gonna say we, because these weren't my beauty standards, but all the Black girls that I knew, they were all attracted to light-skinned dudes with different color eyes. Didn't matter the color, as long as it wasn't brown, you know, because brown is boring. That's what they said, brown is boring. So I used to be like, I remember there was this kid in my class, he was in my neighborhood. This boy named Jesse, this light-skinned boy. He had like green eyes or something, and he liked me, and I was just like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have enough flavor for me. You feel me? Like I was just like, you know, like, bro, I'm sorry. Like you came to the wrong household for this. I'm probably that one girl on the street that will not talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And like he didn't understand it, but at the same time, that's a form of colorism too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think we all really just gotta stop comparing what we look like, because really it does not matter what you look like.
Stop focusing on the looks. Stop focusing on it.
You don't need, like, just because like it's okay to prefer things, but you don't need to, like, not everything needs to be so vocalized, because that's when you start offending people. Because it's like, there's no way to tell somebody, hey, I'm just not attracted to you because I prefer this. That's never gonna come out as non-offensive. Ever, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just how the human ego works. We're I would say probably like 90% of people are not on the elevated thinking to like fight for that. You know what I'm saying?
They're not.
So I think it's just best we just stop comparing and just start embracing, because it's like, there are light-skinned people that have hair just like me. There are dark-skinned people that have hair just like me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter your skin color. You know what I'm saying? We still have different things that we have in common. Exactly. So, and the only reason why we started that mentality is because of slavery. Like, we were only thinking about it in the first place because these white people were making babies and just not claiming them. And that's creating a sense of jealousy between the light-skinned people and white people, and then it's creating a sense of jealousy between the darker skinned Black people and the lighter skinned Black people, because it's like, we don't know what's going on, because there's no way to I would say in a world of terror, there's no sense of rationality. You know what I'm saying? No one.
They have no idea.
So we really need to dump all of that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Dump not the knowledge of what happened, but the knowledge of like what it
colorism.
Like, yeah, the way it's making us think, because it's like, it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. So
it's all a distraction from what we should be doing, which is coming together.
Yep. I've seen some Black people do some ignorant things over skin tone, and I just be like, but they're still Black. You know what I'm saying? And even if they're not Black, they're still human. I'm really just gonna stop saying, but they're still Black. I'm gonna start saying, but they're still human. So, because you can't really say nothing against that. You know, like, because if you say they're still Black, somebody can be like, well, they look like this, and that. Who cares? All right. So, but they're still human. So, what does that change? You know, that's just a new question. So, yeah, colorism just needs to go away, like, completely.
I know.
So,
yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
So you're from Atlanta, Georgia, you said earlier. So I know you from New England, because what would you say the differences are between Atlanta and New England in terms of like Black culture?
I would say the differences, let's see. For me personally, the difference was tolerance, I would say, because I know there are certain things that happened when I was in Boston that I know would never fly if it had happened in Atlanta. So like, I would say an example would be, I was working at Panera while I was out there the whole time. And it was like, there's a lot of situations, like from people singing Cardi B lyrics in the back of the kitchen and they're yelling out the N-word, you know what I'm saying? Because they're singing along to the song, but they're not thinking about the fact that, hey, you shouldn't even be cursing in a professional setting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So never mind what word it is. It's about the fact that you only saying it because you feel like it's shouldn't be done. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just trying to break a rule for no fucking reason. So it's like a lot of that, like a lot of the stuff that I like, that type of stuff, it would not have been cool in Atlanta. Like I don't know, like it's like what's another example? I would say, like I said, I'm not too wrapped up on the hairstyle thing, but I remember when around Halloween time, I saw this white boy with a wig on. It was like a afro wig on, and it wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't a bad thing. It was like a blonde wig, you know what I'm saying? It was actually like honey blonde, so it looked exactly like my fro. So right. I thought it was so funny. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like this guy's wig like looks exactly like my fro. But I was thinking like, okay, if we were at a party in Atlanta, unless that dude is walking around with hella black people, somebody's gonna snatch that wig off his head. You know what I'm saying? But like certain things just don't fly. Like it's like we just don't like. It's a level of tolerance in Atlanta that has been like the line is getting thinner every year. You know, because we haven't, even though the city is so saturated with black people, we still don't see no change. So it's like imaginary change in my eyes. Like, yeah, they'll elect a mayor or blah blah blah. They'll put people in the government positions, but everything is still the same legally. Right. So it's like imaginary victories they got going on. So I think that the people of Atlanta like low-key realize that, and that's what creates that no tolerance culture in a sense. But you also have a little pocket of people in Atlanta who are kind of like some people that I met, like that are actually from Lowell and stuff. It's kind of like the mentality of there's nothing I can do about the fascination, so I'm just gonna count it as inclusion. You know what I'm saying? So you have people that like, that's when you run into white people that act black, like overly black, like, and there's no way to act black, but you know what I'm saying?
Right,
you know
right. No, I understand.
So their idea of what blackness is. So they'll like be rolling their necks all the time, all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. And so you have your little corner pocket of people from Atlanta that like are okay with that, but that's only because they grow up with poor white people. So it's like, they don't see anything wrong with it, but they have to understand that there is a line between we being brothers and sisters and I want to be in your skin. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once people start realizing that, then the tolerance line is gonna get even thinner. So that's I would say that's the difference between Boston and Atlanta, because it's like it's too much tolerance, I would say, in Boston. It's like too many times where I was angry about things that just didn't seem to matter, but they do matter in the big grand scheme of things, because I'm not thinking about myself when I get angry about these things, because I'm not going to stay here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking about who else has to experience this that looks like me. So that's why, yeah,
I feel like if anything, a lot of Black people just sweep things under the rug. They're like, oh, that's how they are, you know?
Yeah, but that's not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
That's how they are. And I thought that was funny because Boston is like one of the first really like Black political tragedies, because Black man started the Boston Tea Party. So he was written off history for a long time, but then they finally put it back in the books and recognized that, hey, he was the first person to shoot that shot for his country. But you know what I'm saying? What did it get him? So that's
nowhere.
That shouldn't be like an anti and that's not even an anti patriotism thought. It's like we just need to flip shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like that man's a patriot, but he wasn't treated like one. So
right, we need to do better for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think it's ever gonna change though? Like, do you think this whole thing is gonna do like a 360 in like 20 years?
I want it to. I really want it to. I want to say yes, it's gonna change, just to put the positive energy out there, because if we all say, oh, it's never gonna change,
then it's not, because it's a vibration thing. Yeah.
But you conditioning yourself to accept that things have to be the way that they are, and we don't have to do that.
So I know you wanted to speak on why some Black people should do their own research in terms of going to the hospital, in terms of medication, if they got like a diagnostic. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. I was bringing that up because I know a lot of Black people that believe that certain diseases and whatnot run in the family, because that's what you're told by a doctor. So it's not really common knowledge yet, but a lot of people don't know that diabetes is not hereditary. High blood pressure is not hereditary. Like, really anything that has to do with your diet or your, or the way that you, like, whether or not you exercise and stuff, none of that is hereditary. So doing your own research will in return help people prevent themselves from even getting certain diseases. So, example would be, when I was living in Boston, my ex at the time had diabetes, and he was also studying to be a doctor too. So I had the hardest time. I couldn't get this through his head that his diabetes is linked to his diet. He knew it was linked to his diet, but only to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Because he still has the conditioning of being a doctor that's telling you medication is the answer, medication is the answer. You know what I'm saying? Making you the medication robot. So his solutions were not long-term, and he didn't see that. And I thought that was amazing that I was seeing that in real time, because it was really just explaining to me that, like, okay, someone, like, just because someone has knowledge doesn't mean it's the right knowledge. So that in turn, that, and also my mother's also always been like this. So she's always been like the person that's moving towards the holistic idea versus the medical solution, you know. So having that influence, I really had to go and do my own research about my own body and myself and whatnot. And I've always like struggled with, this isn't a serious issue, but anemia. So I've always struggled with anemia, and they tell you that, oh, you should take iron if you have anemia. Oh, you should take iron if you have anemia, blah, 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 blah. Maybe I should infuse iron into my diet.
Right.
Yeah. Stop just taking a pill that they tell me is iron. And, you know what I'm saying? And just like having to wonder why this isn't going away. So once you incorporate it in your diet, you change your life, because your body starts to function the way it should be functioning.
Yes. See, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that food is medicine. When you put junk in your body, you're gonna feel like junk. You're gonna have all these problems. You need to listen to your body, you know? A lot of people don't do that. They just go and get fast food. They go, like, you know, for instance, like, every morning, or I try to every morning, I have like this beet juice. Like it's like a juicer, and like I put beets in it, and like sometimes some coconut water and lemons and all that, because it's a good detox drink, and it's good. Beets have so many good benefits, and every time I drink it, people are like, ew, what are you drinking? Blood? And like just saying weird stuff. And I'm like, if only you knew the benefits of this, like, you wouldn't have to take all this medication, you know?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Definitely the facts. Well, yeah. And I also think it's like, it's definitely, like I was saying before, like, that's definitely not even a race thing. That's something that everyone should do, because really we're all a victim of big pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
And like, we can really see that now more prevalent with the vaccine, the way they handled the vaccine. It's like, I was like, Johnson & Johnson is making a vaccine. Don't they make lotion? You know, like, it's like I get it, they do make a lot of baby products, but I had no idea they had their hands in the medical region.
No,
you know?
listen to this. So I have this chapstick, because, you know, I live in New England and it's always freaking cold here. So I had this chapstick because my lips are chapped. Tell me why I was reading it, and it said Pfizer on it. Pfizer. Yeah. I'm just like, let me throw this out. Like, why is Pfizer on a chapstick?
Right.
Like I thought that was weird, but that's funny that you said that, you know?
So it's like, okay, so I would say, like, when I say that we're all like victim of the company, going back to the vaccine. So, okay, we find out that all these like normalized companies are making these serious ass vaccines. And not only are they just making them on a fly because it's demand and we're in the middle of a pandemic, because that is what they should be doing. That's their job, is to find a solution as fast as possible. But you also have to think of results over efficiency. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they tried their best to like get these vaccines pumped out and stuff, and they didn't really think about the effects that it will have on your body years from now.
Yeah.
So years from now, when people have these random ass health problems and blah blah blah, we're gonna be like, oh dang, everyone did take those damn vaccines 10 years ago, you know? Because it's like everyone wants to break down into like I don't know, I didn't really get into the whole social media thing about COVID because I didn't want to get into it. I feel like it's a distraction.
Yeah, exactly. And it's such a like controversial like topic. Like people get so offended on like your views about it, regardless of what side you're on. And that's the point. Like people want people to fight about this.
Exactly, because the internet, I try to stay off the internet, period, because social media is really trying to keep everyone complacent. They be like, these are the facts, but these are the doubts. These are the facts. These are the doubts. It's like 1 week the facts are trending, the next week the doubts are trending.
Right.
And it doesn't make any sense to me, but it makes sense if you understand people that are trying to confuse people.
Right.
You know?
And that's all they're doing. They're all trying to confuse people, trying to feel like they're on your side and then flip on you. Like it's a mess. It really is.
Yeah. Really is. I would say the perfect example of that is when one time there was another cop shooting, and this was when they were having a lot of protests and blah blah blah. It was a thing on social media, the trend. It was like it was like the protest happened and they planted those bricks and blah blah blah, and then the next day on social media they trended a blackout, and everyone's just doing it. And then like by half the day everyone's like, hold the fuck up, why are we doing a blackout?
Right.
You know, if we need to keep raising awareness on all this other shit. So that was the bot working against the movement. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's not just one movement, it's a coalition of people, different things and different people who all believe that one thing, hey, stop shooting on our people. You know what I'm saying? But that was the social media monster coming back to bring doubt into your mind, because it's like, oh, if everyone could just go silent the next day, does this really matter? You know?
Right.
It's crazy. The little doubt machines always trying to get people to not think freely. So I do try to stay off of social media because of that reason.
Yeah, and on top of that, the social media, like for instance, Twitter, TikTok, all of them, Instagram, they're trying to make you be on their app as long as possible. You know?
So they can know more about you.
That, yeah. That and just see, and that's how you have like all these like trending things that like kind of, you know, like make it seem like, oh, this is the type of person I am. But then you click on it, then you click on another one, then another one. That's all it is.
Yep. But yeah, self-research on health issues is very important. Not a self-diagnosis. I wouldn't say that, because yes, the doctors have crammed all that information into their heads so that they actually can tell you what's wrong, but that doesn't mean that they know the solutions, you know? So I never encourage self-diagnosis because you never know what's going on with people. So yeah.
But do your own research, and then don't just go to one doctor, go to multiple doctors if you really feel like you need to.
Yeah. And honestly, I would say self-diagnosis is very important for people who really have money or healthcare, because it's like a lot of times I will personally, so like I'm one of those people that's like in the middle grounds. Like I don't have no money, but I do have healthcare. You know what I'm saying? So when I go into these places, they automatically like, it's kind of like you get treated a certain way until they find out you have healthcare. Like really a prejudice that's like growing, and it's really like it's really gross. Like I would say it's more prevalent with like if you're not trying to go to the emergency room, or if you're just going to the dentist or something. Like the dentist will definitely never see you if you don't have, you know what I'm saying? If you can't pay money, if they can't figure out before you walk through the back if you can pay them or not, they're not going to see you. But guess what can really kill you? Your mouth.
Right.
So it's like, are they really healthcare professionals at that point, or is this a private business? Because they're running themselves like private businesses and not catering to the people, and that's not how this should be.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like also people should question America like all in one, because America, like in New England, in London and all that, they have free healthcare. It's not, well, Europe, they have free healthcare. We don't have any of that. Why?
Yeah, because everything is in this country. We're a capitalistic country, so everything is for profit. That's what that means. Like even like, I mean, even most of the time, even most of these non-profit organizations are backed by for-profit companies that are just really just trying to make it seem like they care about the environment and they care about the people and blah, blah, blah. Don't. But I mean, I wouldn't say that they don't on a personal level, but they don't on a long-term level. Like they're not really trying to make an impact. They're just trying to help like their employees or anybody that comes in contact with their nonprofit. So they're not really doing anything in the grand scheme of things. Like companies that do stuff like, oh, you buy a meal and you get a shoe for somebody in another country. Now, if someone needs a meal, what they need a shoe for, you know? So it's like, we're not really thinking about the long-term solutions. So,
America.
We're lucky, but we're not really helping. So, yeah.
So what are this is my last question, but what are the lessons that you've learned so far in life or in terms as, for like Black History Month?
I would say my lesson in life that pertains to Black History Month, I would say when it comes to music, especially growing up seeing Lil' Kim and blah, 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 I always thought that a female rapper like really has to be somebody that's more like Lil' Kim or Megan Thee Stallion, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm learning, like every step that I take and what I'm hoping to teach is that a female rapper doesn't have to be either we're Young and May or Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I'm saying? In the middle, because women can be in the middle in general. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to be like overly sexual, and we don't have to be overly masculine. Like why can't we just be normal women that like to rap? You don't have to fit those two categories to be a female artist, or like whether you sing or rap. So it's like I'm trying to promote like I'm just trying to really promote like for the female rap game to be just like the male rap game. You know what I'm saying? Because males, they really have to do much at all. Like these dudes really be showing up looking any type of way, any type of like saying anything they want. But as a woman, I gotta show up and I gotta kill it. You know what I'm saying? Or there's just no one needs to go blink. You know?
Right.
It's like it's like I think I just really want to change the image of female rappers, and I'm seeing that this is the time. The lesson that I'm learning is the time to really do that, because since the world is embracing us, they need to embrace all forms of this. You know. So.
I love that. Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl. Well, thank you so much for being on Lessons Learned.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to see where your show is going in the future, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this shit is growing and growing and growing, and I love things grow. So I'm praying for your flowers, and I'm praying for the water that flowers. I mean that gives it nourishment and blah blah blah. So,
oh my God, thank you so much.
No problem.
That's so sweet.